Atletico Madrid have entered the race to sign Manuel Ugarte after their deal for Conor Gallagher fell through. Luke Shaw out injured until October at the earliest, with United reportedly looking at Ben Chilwell as a potential replacement. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this evening's show. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm live every single day at 8:30, 1:30 and 6. If you want to keep up to date with all of your latest United news and talk, make sure you get involved. Right, I want to start the show off with some positivity because we have had confirmation in the last couple of minutes that Matthias de Ligt is apparently going to wear the number 4 shirt for Manchester United, and Mazraoui is going to wear the number 3. So Matthias de Ligt has just put out a statement where he says goodbye to the Bayern Munich fans. He says, "I want to thank each and every one of you for all of your love and support. I have spent 2 amazing years playing for this beautiful club. It has been like a true honour to play for Bayern Munich. We have achieved unforgettable memories," blah, blah, blah. He says, "Leaving the club feels bittersweet. I will always remember the love and support I have received from the players, the staff, the members and the fans." So de Ligt has just officially said goodbye to the Bayern Munich fans. We are expecting the club announcement any minute. By the time you've watched this video, we might have already had the announcement. But apparently de Ligt is going to wear number 4 and Mazraoui is going to wear number 3. So can't wait to see these two. They're both going to be available for the game against Fulham. They both trained today. There are photos of them in training today. They've signed their contracts. They are Manchester United players. So absolutely buzzing about that. But moving on from that, let's talk a little bit about Jarrad Branthwaite quickly, because there are more stories saying that apparently Manchester United are going to try and sign Jarrad Branthwaite in the final weeks of the window. Now, there's probably some of you watching this show thinking, why do we need Branthwaite? We've got de Ligt, we've got Lenny Yoro. But the thing that a lot of people seem to forget is Harry Maguire, 1 year left on his contract. Lindelof, 1 year left on his contract. And Johnny Evans, 1 year left on his contract. All 3 of those players, if they manage to survive this transfer window, will be gone by this time next year. Their contracts expire in June. They're all not going to be given new deals. So this time next year, even if we've got Lenny Yoro and de Ligt and Martinez, we'll only have 3 centre-backs. And a top club like Manchester United, who are playing in Europe, need 5, if not 6 centre-backs. Maybe 5 senior ones and 1 from the youth academy. So even if we were to sign Branthwaite now, this time next summer, we would still even be short in the centre-back position, which is a crazy thought to think of. But at the moment, our squad is going through a transition. Obviously, Maguire, Lindelof and Johnny Evans are leaving within the next 12 months. And we desperately need to strengthen that area. And as great as Lenny Yoro and de Ligt are, and I'm so happy about those deals, it's still not enough really in the defensive areas because we can't have Casemiro playing there. Luke Shaw, some people would say, but we'll talk about him. He's completely unreliable. So I actually think that if Manchester United could do a deal for Jarrad Branthwaite in the final weeks of the window, it makes a lot of sense. And the thing that people seem to forget is that Branthwaite can play at left back as well. He played at left back for large portions of the season last year for Everton. Obviously, he's left-footed as well. We only have got 1 left-footed centre-back at the moment. I think he'd be an unbelievable signing. And my fear is that if we don't get him now, I could see him moving to Man City, to a Liverpool. Van Dijk's contract expires next year. He will get a big move to a big club. And if we don't get him now, we might miss out on him next summer. So I personally would try and get the Branthwaite deal done. Obviously, Everton need to sell to raise some funds. And the other thing which is really, really interesting is that Everton have apparently inquired for Scott McTominay. They're one of the clubs that Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic reported this morning that have inquired to Manchester United to sign Scott McTominay this summer. So there's a real chance here that a deal could be done. McTominay goes to Everton, 25-30 million is the asking price. And we then sign de Ligt for 50-60 million, including add-ons. And if that could happen, say we get 30 million for McTominay and then go and sign Branthwaite for 50 million. I actually think that would be great business because if you look at that, as in what you've gone from into what you've got rid of McTominay, who's 27, 1 year left on his deal. I think surplus to requirements, and you've brought in a 22-year-old centre-back who's going to be part of your squad for the next decade, at least. So yeah, I would personally do that if it was a possibility to do. And the story that's come out today is saying that apparently Manchester United are going to try and sign de Ligt in the final weeks of the window. And it says that Manchester United will be willing to pay as much as £60 million for Jarrad Branthwaite. So we'll see how that one progresses. I personally would do that deal, but I want you to let me know in the comments, should Manchester United go back in for Jarrad Branthwaite? Do you agree with my position that we do actually need another centre-back? Because otherwise next summer we'll only have 3 and we will be very, very short. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But moving on from that, I want to talk a little bit about Luke Shaw. So this is being reported widely. The club have put out a statement themselves, and apparently Luke Shaw has picked up another injury. It's a calf injury, and apparently he's going to be back in October. So he's out for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks at the earliest. And the official statement from the club actually says, hopefully he'll be back after the international break, which is October. So it's not even saying definitely. It's saying that they're aiming for him to come back in October. Now, if we have a look at the games that Luke Shaw's missed, right, over the last few years. Last season, he missed 34 games through injury. Season before that, 18. Season before that, 18. Season before that, 23. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is we can't rely on Luke Shaw anymore as a first-choice left-back because he's just never available. He was injured for pretty much all of last season, and then suddenly he makes himself available for the Euros. He comes back to Manchester United, and within a week, he's now got another injury, and he's out till October. And I actually personally think this is a horrible thought to have for any footballer, but Luke Shaw needs to have a long, hard look at the situation. And maybe it's got to the point now where he has to consider retiring, you know? No one's going to want to sign him from Manchester United. Even when his contract expires, no one's going to want to sign him. But I think in reality, what will probably happen is Luke Shaw will just stay at Manchester United. He'll continue earning the money because why wouldn't he? You know, he's got 3 years left on his deal. The Glazers were absolutely foolish to give him that new contract. Last summer, they gave him a new 4-year contract when he'd been injured 20 plus games for the last 4 seasons in a row. That was one of the dumbest decisions I think we've ever made. Luke Shaw, when he's playing and he's fit and he's available, is a decent left back, but we can't rely on him anymore. It's as simple as that. And we desperately now need to sign somebody who can fill in that position. Obviously, Mazraoui can play at left back. Dalot can play at left back. Harry Amas obviously can play at left back. So we do have options there. And that's why I like Jarrad Branthwaite, because Jarrad Branthwaite is a centre-back, left-sided centre-back. He's left-footed, but he can play at left-back as well. And I think he would give us cover in all of those areas then if we were to go for him. Now, to give you the full report, so yeah, Luke Shaw out till October at the earliest. It's a calf injury. And the story coming out off the back of that, this is coming from Manchester Evening News, it's coming from TalkSport, it's coming from Sky Sports, is that apparently Manchester United are now interested in signing Ben Chilwell, who is apparently assessing his options and wants to leave Chelsea this summer. The story says that apparently Chelsea are unlikely to stand in his way if they receive a suitable offer from Manchester United. So in relation to Ben Chilwell, 27 years of age, I don't rate Ben Chilwell at all. I think he's average, really, really average. And the thing with Ben Chilwell is his injury record's even worse than Luke Shaw's. So I don't understand why Manchester United would even consider this. Last season, Ben Chilwell missed 35 games. The season before that, 20. The season before that, he missed 45 games. It's a massive, massive no for me. If it was a free signing and he was on a contract where you only get paid if you play, then maybe I would maybe consider it. But for the amount of money that Chelsea would want, probably 20 to 30 million, and then when you factor in his wages and you factor in his injury record, he's actually got a worse record than Luke Shaw for injuries. So for me personally, Ben Chilwell is a massive no, and I would be I'd be disgusted if Manchester United signed Ben Chilwell. I would. I just don't think he's good enough. And even if he is good enough, his injury record is absolutely appalling. So yeah, for me, it's a massive no. But again, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And then the next story I've got for you is on Manuel Ugarte. So the story starts out positive. This is coming out from a very, very reliable Uruguayan journalist who is reporting that apparently Jorge Mendes and his agency have been to Manchester in the last few hours to try and finish a negotiation for Manuel Ugarte to Manchester United. Apparently PSG are willing to accept a reduced fee for Manuel Ugarte. And there is some murmurs as well that PSG want to bring Jadon Sancho to Paris. And obviously this Manuel Ugarte could be part of that deal. Now that's amazing. That bit's all great. But this same story, as I said, from a very reliable Uruguayan journalist, obviously Manuel Ugarte being Uruguayan, is saying that if Manchester United fail to sign or to close the deal effectively, if they fail to close the deal for Manuel Ugarte, apparently Atlético Madrid have expressed interest to sign Manuel Ugarte. But they only want to do a loan deal. Now, we were obviously told that PSG need the money. We were told that PSG want to sell him and that a loan deal wasn't possible. But there are some murmurs that have come out in the last kind of hour or so that apparently they would be interested in doing a loan deal with an obligation to buy to Atletico if Manchester United can't agree a full deal now. Now, some people are saying the reason for this is because of PSG obviously being Qatari owned, and there's this kind of this anger still between Qatar and Manchester United because of the failed takeover. And apparently that's why they've been so unwilling to reduce the price, because they see it as like an ego thing. You know, they see it as you didn't let us buy the club and now you're trying to buy our players for, you know, really small amounts of money. I don't know how true that is. I'm sure that there is some element of that, because imagine if you were the Qataris, you'd be really, really annoyed, wouldn't you, that you didn't get Manchester United, and really annoyed that you thought you genuinely had the opportunity, you know, that you were leading the race and that, you know, the Glazers wanted to sell. And there was even points where the Qataris, after the failed takeover, Sheikh Jassim and his camp were supposedly trying to sue the Glazers for defamation, for putting out stories saying that, you know, Sheikh Jassim never really was actually serious and all the rest of it. So there's obviously bad blood between, you know, the Glazers, Manchester United and the Qataris. And obviously PSG being Qatari owned, it doesn't help the situation. And I think that's probably why this deal has dragged out so long, and why PSG is stamping their feet in the ground and saying either you give us the money or we walk away. But this new report that's come out today obviously saying that Jorge Mendes has flown to Manchester to effectively secure the deal, I think is positive. And I think it probably will go through now. But there is always this fear that if Manchester United don't move quickly on it, then Atletico Madrid apparently have inquired. We obviously all know that Conor Gallagher was meant to join Atletico Madrid. That deal has fallen through. So Atletico Madrid are now looking for a player in the midfield area. Obviously, Manuel Ugarte and Conor Gallagher are quite different players, but they still obviously are midfielders, and Atletico want to bring in a midfielder, and Manuel Ugarte is apparently top of their list. But as I said, they could only do a loan deal. Apparently they don't have the money otherwise to buy him. But let me know your thoughts on all of that. Do you think Manchester United will manage to get Manuel Ugarte? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And then the final story I've got for you today is about Facundo Pellistri. Apparently in recent hours, both Bologna and Caligari have entered talks with Manchester United to sign Facundo Pellistri on a permanent deal. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Manchester United are asking for around £10 million. And then the last story is apparently, this is coming out from a couple of different people, that Manchester United want to make 2 more significant signings after Matthias de Ligt and Mazraoui. And I want you to get in the comment section and let me know, if Manchester United could sign 2 more players, who would it be in the final weeks of the window? Let me know your thoughts below. I'm going with Manuel Ugarte. I think he is essential. And I would actually go with an attacking player. I would go with another striker. I'm not 100% set on who that other striker would be, but I'll tell you a few people that I like. I like Evan Ferguson. I like Ivan Toney. I like Jonathan David. I would go with one of them. I think if you move on Sancho, we should bring in another striker, because at the moment, we're still very light in that area. Rasmus Højlund's injured until October. Joshua Zirkzee never played in the Premier League before, and we don't have any other strikers other than Ethan Wheatley, who's obviously a youth player. So yeah, for me personally, if we were to sign 2 more players, I would go for Manuel Ugarte and a striker. And if we were going to be greedy, I would get Jared Branthwaite, Manuel Ugarte and a striker. That's what I would do. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm going to wrap the video up here. I will be back live at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all on the next one. Bye for now.